Hi, welcome to the Love Couch. Today we are talking about boundaries. It is what everybody seems to be talking about online, and we are learning all about how not to do it from neilpatrickharris on Uncoupled.
It's like the world is aligned and everything is Michael.
Nice.
Michael.
The client is Claire.
So much for the fucking universe. How did she hear about it?
She saw our video on the website, and what is wrong with Claire? She loves you.
Yeah, a little too much. Listen to these texts that she sent just this week. Monday, do you want to go for a walk?
Sounds nice.
Tuesday, do you want to be my +1?
A party with free
I
alcohol.
love that
Oh, she
shit.
is terrible.
Worst
Wednesday,
thing ever.
can you tell what I did to my chin? No? Well, good. I didn't do anything. Or did I? If she lives in the same building as me, these texts will be drop-bys.
Well, and don't take this the wrong way, but your building is probably way too down market for Claire Lewis.
Okay, I'm very distracted. My hair is wet. I'm sorry, my hair is wet. We were just paddleboarding. I don't blow dry. Do you guys blow dry? So it's a little wet. I'm feeling self-conscious about it. So I'm just gonna name the elephant in the room so that I'm not worrying about it.
Oh, I didn't know you were so self-conscious about it.
Well, it looks kind of like is it dirty? Is it yeah, it's darker.
It's lovely.
Okay, boundaries.
Boundaries.
He doesn't want the discomfort of someone crossing his boundaries, which is actually what I see a lot of. When women first discover their boundaries, which is like what I want, how I want it, when people cross those boundaries, I get really pissed. But who was it? Was it Dr. Phil? We have to teach people.
We're going way back in time, folks.
Well, who is it?
Strap yourselves in.
You have to teach people how to treat you, and that's what boundaries are. And so the work for Michael would be to be okay with his boundaries, that when Claire says, "Do you want to be a +1?" he's okay. Say it with me now, saying no. That's it. That's all the boundary is saying, okay, there's physical stuff, but mostly it's just saying, "Oh, thank you for asking. No, I'm not gonna be able to make that today," or "Thank you so much. No, it's not for me." That's it.
He'd rather lose the sale than have her move into his building.
All because of 2 little letters.
No.
And
what do you think it brings up?
I'm going to ask you, tell the lovely watchers, dear watcher, listen to what book changed this wonderful man's life in 2007.
Something. It was a bit later than that. The No More Mr. Nice Guy, that book.
Yeah, who's the author? Remember the author so people can get it?
Yes, Dr. Robert Glover.
No More Mr.
Wrote a book called No More Mr. Nice Guy, and it's written he calls himself a recovering nice guy, and it's written for all the men who were raised to be nice, and in the context of the book, nice means really disowning one's needs, and this is a process that happens very early on in childhood usually, and that we carry through into adulthood. And it's like, yeah, I'm good. It's okay. Whatever you want to do is fine. I don't mind. It's okay. No, whatever you would like. And there are absolutely circumstances in life and in relationships where that's okay. But to have that as a credo, to have that as your default way of operating, results in often bitter resentments, feeling hard done by, feeling cheated, feeling unseen, and so if you're a nice guy, you'll it can occur as tension in your body, stress in your body, stressing your life, and you may not know why, and if you do it for too long, you might end up snapping at your partner or your kids, because it sort of becomes a volcano that erupts. So what connection are you making between, like, he wants to be a nice guy.
He wants to be a nice guy.
He doesn't want to be the guy saying, no, this is, I'm just not comfortable with this. You're a client. I'm your realtor. Can we maintain some kind of professional distance? Maybe we can like go out for a drink every now and then, but it feels awkward with you dropping by every day.
He doesn't want to be that close of a friend.
Yeah.
And that is the risk of saying no. But here's the risk of not saying no is lying, resentment.
Mm-hmm.
And if that doesn't build distance, I don't know what does. So the lie of the nice guy and hello, the nice girl is just as powerful. I know about the nice girl more, so I learned about it especially in a book called Unbound by Kasia Urbaniak, and she talked about the good girl double bind. So you are bound to be nice so that you are accepted, and if you aren't nice, you are like rejected and lose connection with people.
Yeah.
So
that's a threat for the nice guy too.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's that you're gonna be shunned, excluded, for being rude. Like it's like the belief that the cost of being rude is exclusion and abandonment. So that's why you keep being nice, because you don't want to risk that.
But check out the energy that's getting built with being the nice guy and saying all this smack behind people's backs and all the things you don't want to do. You are not having a clear channel with the person, and you are literally pushing them away. The whole point of being nice is that you are a clear channel to connect with people. But if you are being nice at the cost of your actual true self, energy, needs, desires, you are actually pushing people away.
Yeah.
So if it's not genuine desire to do something, and a genuine desire feels like, oh yeah, I'd like to do that. That sounds fun. Or I might need to think about it. I'm not sure. So I'm kind of into human design. There's something, the emotional wave. People with that in their chart need to wait 24 hours. There's some human designs that have to wait a month to really feel what they want. But you get to learn I'm a sacral, you are too, a sacral authority, which means that you ask me and my body's like, yep, or my body's like, nope. And I know right in the moment. And being able to trust my yeses and my nos means that when I do say yes, it is a real yes. And if I don't know if you can think of a time when someone said yes to you, but it wasn't a real yes. Tell me where I'm wrong in the comments, but it feels awful. It feels like, am I missing something? It feels like the energy's not clear. It feels like somebody's doing a favor or somebody's obligated. It makes me do like this. I don't know.
Yeah.
Can you, right?
Yeah.
So this whole boundary thing, there's a reason why everybody's talking about it.
Yeah.
It has so much power to create truth and trust between people, or to be secretly pushing them away from trying to do the right thing, as opposed to simply doing what's true.
Yeah, it robs a relationship of the opportunity for authenticity. Like if we play out the version of Neil Patrick Harris, like entertaining his new neighbor dropping by, like you can imagine, and he's so good at playing this, that kind of awkwardness, like the kind of pretend niceness, and just sort of trying to kind of fake his way through a social situation with, being nice and making sure everybody's okay. And you can feel the disconnect between what he's trying to do and what's actually happening between these two characters. So the idea of stating boundaries and setting boundaries can be terrifying, can be really, really confronting. But what's on offer is integrity, is authenticity, and is a deeper connection. Because if he says to his neighbor, "Hey, look, I want to just establish some ground rules or some boundaries around you moving in, and they have an adult conversation about it, there's a chance for them actually to have a deeper relationship if that's what they want, or a more respectful or a more aligned one.
Okay, we might disagree on that.
Oh, okay.
So I don't disagree with aligned and grown up and all of those things, but I'm a believer. I'm not a believer in let's have a talk. Actually, most of the time. I mean, sometimes it's needed. But in this particular situation, she will learn very quickly how to treat him and what their relationship is about by how he operates within what's happening.
Yeah.
I prefer not to have a I need this from you conversation, unless it's like something big, like someone you're living with or kids, or stuff that's like ongoing, more close relationships.
Right.
But if it's just friends, they will learn how to treat you by how you act within the relationship. And here's the energy secret. I don't know if we're going to put this in the show notes, but if you have watched this far, here's the energy secret. The secret to having clear and beautiful boundaries is that you do not push them at people. It is not their responsibility to do what you want. It is your responsibility to hold the boundary. So here's what it would look like. Let's use this one. We're going out for a drink. Woman whose name we can't remember. Michael, I want to go out for a drink. And he's like, oh, that sounds so lovely, but I'm in for the night. Thank you so much for asking. No, really, why don't you come? Okay, so continue. Picture that for a while. The more open he is to her having her experience, and he knows his boundaries, and he's decided maybe ahead of time, if she asks me for a third time, I'm going to say, I'm so sorry. I'm going to hang up now because this conversation's done, or whatever he decides he wants to do. If he is okay with her being upset and he has stayed in his calm, grounded, true to himself boundaries, her behavior is kind of irrelevant. He is doing and has said what he wants. Now, you may absolutely have anger come up, resentment come up, but I will say that is not the energy of boundaries. That is the energy of fear coming up, that you are going to lose connection with someone, and that can be your work to do. That is what your new boundaried space is showing you, of where you have more work to do to grow into holding those boundaries calmly, cleanly, and in a grounded way. It's different than the conversation, a big conversation.
Yeah.
It's like little bits.
Yeah, I think the distinction you're making between like a sort of a social situation in the show and versus like like you said, like maybe a relationship with your partner or your kid or a colleague or something where it might be necessary to have a conversation.
Yeah, and a reflection, like let's say it's like a colleague maybe saying something to you, or always asking you out for a drink, and you feel like you have to say no like 5 times. It could be a really simple comment. It would mean a lot to me if you trusted me when I said my no. I feel like I have to say it a lot, and it's putting a strain on our relationship. Even that feels confrontational, but it's very clear, and it's a very clear ask of what you want, so that there's less push and pull in the relationship. So the trick of the boundaries is your work to be calm and clear in them, and let the other person's reaction kind of be their business. It's actually a lot more challenging than getting angry. It's big work.
But it is big work, because it's the work of moving through the fear of rejection, the fear of abandonment, and that can be some deep work to do, to be really solid in your no. Solid and consistent in your no.
And sometimes that rejection, that piece that you may be feeling, might not even be yours. It might be the lovely person who you are giving a loving no to. You might be feeling their wounded child, or their fears of abandonment, or their fears of rejection,
or anticipating it. Anticipate. I don't want them to have that feeling of being rejected, of being abandoned. So it's both sides. It's like, I don't want them to hate me and reject me, that I don't want them to feel rejected, and maybe translate that as being hated by me.
And all of that worry, my dear watcher, all of that worry spins because
It does.
it's their business. Your business is to be calm and grounded in yourself. That's the part you can take care of. And here's the cool thing is that when you're calm and grounded, you actually have more space to support this other person in what might come up as rejection. So one of my favorite things, if I am a no for a scheduling, especially with close people, and it's just literally I can't, or I'm not feeling well, or the scheduling doesn't work, is I will then be like, I love that idea. Could we do it this other time? And I'll offer a further time. So there's a difference for boundaries too between a no now, or is it actually going to be a no forever?
Yeah.
And to be tender with the people that you're talking to in whichever case it is. Whatever is coming up for them is theirs to work on, even as you can have empathy and compassion for whatever that is. It's weird, right? But the more clear you are with yourself, the more support you can give to the other person, as opposed to everybody running around lying and not actually saying what they want.
Yeah.
That's what I think about boundaries. Anything else you might add?
I'm remembering Arsenio Hall said once.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
This was fun. I'd love to hear a place that you're feeling challenged around boundaries in the comments, or a place that you have questions around boundaries, or a place where you have rocked your boundaries, you have figured it out, and you want to be celebrated. We would love to celebrate you. Okay.
Like, comment, subscribe. We're always interested in other shows, series, scenes from shows, scenes from series that we can react to.
What are you loving watching right now? Okay. Bye.